Well, welcome to the village, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Conversations at Kim. I am your host, Kim, and this is the Conversations with Kim talk show. I am so excited and I'm just glad that you all decided to join today. This is our season finale. We won't be returning until January, but I'll have different pop ups here and there until then, bringing you some up to date information, keeping you up to speed with what I'm going to be doing. But I don't want to belabor the time. We'll be announcing the winners for the like, share, and tag event at the end of the show. So please stay tuned to see if that's going to be you. And then we do have my very, 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 very dear friend and my personal coach, Frances, is with us today. Frances Smith Dean. And so I want you, Village, in your own way, to show Frances some love in the comments and welcome her to the village.
Well, hello, everyone. How you doing?
Welcome, Frances.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Kim, for this platform. Thank you. You've done a great job. 18 episodes. Wow. That's just truly amazing. We appreciate everything you've done. Thank you for allowing me to be on the platform this second time so we can start our assessing our financial futures part 2.
Yes, I'm glad you're here and you definitely have the floor.
Okay. Well, thank you and welcome, everyone. I hope that you have your notebooks because you're going to need it because we're going to do a list of action items for this presentation or coaching session. And let's look at some things that happened last time. We're going to do a recap. Then we're going to go into some new topics that you need to be aware of. Okay, I'm trying to get my PowerPoint up and going. I'm having a little bit. Oh, here we go. All right. Let's see. If not, I could talk. My PowerPoint is having a little bit of trouble. Let me see. Kim, how can I? All right. Well, let's start with this, guys. My name is Frances Smith Dean, and I'm the Executive Director of the Zan Wesley Holmes Jr. Community Outreach Center. I'm the owner of the Financial Educator LLC, adjunct mathematics professor at Dallas College, former registered investment advisor for Retirement Plan Advisors LLC in Chicago, and I specialize in public employee deferred compensation plans. So as we begin our journey, the agenda is as follows. We're going to recap session 1. We're going to look at the innovation cycle process, and then I'm going to give you action items. As we start the review, there were 3 major things that we discussed the last time: life cycle of money, innovation cycle, and the disruptors. Now, remember in our last session, the life cycle of money has 6 stages. The life cycle of money has 6 stages. And today, I was hoping that as we move forward, we would have had the fiscal package completed by now. So remember, I said in last session, we had the monetary package, but we didn't have the fiscal package. So in the life cycle of money, we have 6 stages. Barter market begins. Then that's stage 1. In stage 2, we have a free market enterprise. Stage 3, government regulations come in. Stage 4, the government monopolizes. So what happens in stage 4, that's regulation. So put in your notes, stage 4 is regulation. Stage 5, the government debases money. And currently that is happening because as quantitative easing and repo markets and the printing of money stimulus, all of this is debasing money in stage 5. And in stage 6, at some point, the American people won't have confidence. So if you understand this, it's this. We have 27 trillion in debt, in US debt, and that's really not sustainable. So at some particular point, we're going to see a collapse. So the next thing we're going to recap is the innovation cycle. What you need to know and understand. Currently, President Trump ends the third industrial revolution. We're about to enter into the fourth industrial revolution with President Biden. At one time, there was the first, that was with machines. And then the second, that's the assembly line. That's where electricity came into being. The third industrial revolution was with computers and automation. Now the fourth is with autonomous cyber algorithms, and that's where we are now. Once we get to 2021, we will enter the fourth industrial revolution. Remember, we're recapping. Innovation cycle, what does it mean? Innovation is the process of creating new technologies and using them in the economy. Technologies help produce things cheaper, faster, and better. So, as we take on these new technologies, as citizens, we're going to enjoy it. But there's some drawbacks, and we're going to discuss those drawbacks today. So here's what the new technologies will look like. Internet of Things, IoT, artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, and blockchain technology. These lists and these titles are going to be very important. Please put them in your notes, because as our fourth industrial revolution begins to progress, you're going to need to know how to invest money. So these new technologies, these are the frontiers of our next phase within our economy. So let's go back over it again. The money life cycle is something you have to understand because it's going to affect you. There are 6 stages. Barter market begins, that's stage 1. Stage 2 is the free market money in economy. Stage 3 is government regulation. Stage 4 is government monopolizes money. And in stage 4, there's 2 types of policy: fiscal and monetary. Fiscal policy is given by your legislators, Congress, where monetary is given by the Federal Reserve Bank. Then what happens is when money floods the system like it's flooding the system currently, money begins to lose its value. I said to you earlier, we have 27 trillion in debt, which is really not a sustainable. And the United States GDP has sort of condensed or has consolidated somewhat. So at some point, as American citizens, we're going to lose confidence in our U.S. greenback. But what you have to also realize is We're in a new business cycle. So in this business cycle, it's called innovation. The innovation cycle has brought on a new industrial revolution. We've experienced 3 prior revolutions, and now President Biden walks us into the 4th industrial revolution. In the innovation cycle, innovation is the process of creating new technologies and using them in the economy. Technologies help produce things cheaper, faster, and better. The new technologies are as follows: Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, and blockchain technology. So, all of that's great, new technology. But now, how does that affect you, the average citizen who goes to work every day and who may depend on the paycheck? Well, it could sort of disrupt your industry, work, as well as global trends. So let's look at this. The new technologies that I just mentioned, AI, robotics, artificial intelligence, they're disruptors of the following industries: healthcare, customer service and experience, banking, financial services and insurance, logistics, retail, cybersecurity, transportation, marketing, defense, and your lifestyle. So for the nine areas, if you are doing a job that a lot of other people are doing, your job will be disrupted at some point. So here's how you can test this. So if you're doing a job in the office that maybe 20 or 30 other people are doing it, innovation is going to come in and disrupt. Because what you have to understand is they don't need 20 or 30 people to do the job anymore like they used to. So your other thing that you have to prepare for, so disruption or loss of job, but also prepare for a different type of work week. Currently, Americans work an average of 30 hours a week. Technology will disrupt this trend by forcing employment trends to hire more gig and freelance workers. In 2021, prepare for the 2-day work week due to the disruption in technology. So if you're currently working a 40-hour work week, expect the changes to begin to take place in 2021, where you will work a 2-day work week or a 3-day work week. Technology is just that powerful that you no longer will need to work 40 hours a week or 30 hours a week. So if you're a gig worker, a freelancer, that's good for you. You would probably come in 1 day a week, work 8 hours, and that's it. I recently had a client and she had this type of setup, no lunch breaks or anything. She worked 1 day for 8 hours and that was it. And in our coaching session, I was telling her, I said, well, prepare for more gigs like that. Nobody's going to pick you up anymore and hire you for 40 hours or 20 hours as technology begins to come in and just really change the landscape of everything. So let's look at some global trends, because what you have to understand is this. Globally, we are transitioning, whether you like it or not. Americans will become poor because of this new wave of innovation coming into our system. But it's not that you have to be, you just have to think differently. Remember I said, we are leaving the 3rd industrial revolution. That's ending right now in 2020. And we're beginning on the 4th industrial revolution. That's what President Biden, that's what he's been handed off to by the global community. The global trends with COVID-19, 27 trillion in US debt, negative interest rates, we're going into two major global trends. One, a global reset. That's going to be a reset of debts throughout the entire world. And two, a renegotiation of the Bretton Woods Treaty. Again, the IMF has initiated this. So with the global reset and with the renegotiation of the Bretton Woods Treaty, Americans will have to change their lifestyles because this new Bretton Woods agreement could threaten the reserve currency of the US dollar. And if that happens, then our way of life will drastically change. So what's good about tonight, you're getting the information firsthand. You can go to the IMF and read it for yourself. You could Google the Global Reset by the IMF, and you can also Google the negotiation of the Bretton Woods Treaty by the IMF. I believe in giving you information that you can do your own due diligence and read for yourself. But what you also have to understand, there will be some type of effect to our lifestyles in the United States. So let's look at some steps that I think you should begin to understand. So in this section, we're going to look at process. So I would like for you all to begin to create some SMART goals. And the reason why you need to look at SMART goals specifically is because let's say you work a 35-hour work week, and all of a sudden your employer comes to you and says, well, we have to make some changes, or we're going to have to furlough you, or we're going to offer you a contract position. It means that your benefits will change. It also means that you now have to do something different, a different way. So I want you to really, really, really look at your debt, look at your investments, and those things, and sort of create some SMART goals around your financial stability. So in creating SMART goals, you want your goal to be specific. You want it to be clear and well-defined. You want it to be measurable. So you're not going to just make a goal, leave it out there. You want it to have some type of milestone. So to see if you're progressing, you want it to be attainable, meaning you don't want to create an impossible goal that you know that you're unable to fulfill. You want it relevant. You also want it time-bound, a deadline. So the first thing you need to do once you create some SMART goals, so we create our goals first. Now we have to look at understanding asset classes and investment seasons, because if we don't, we could make the right move, but at the wrong time. So that's why understanding asset classes and investment seasons are going to be crucial, because you don't want to make the right move, but at the wrong time. So for example, right now it's not cost effective to invest in bonds, okay? Maybe investing in bonds at a later period of time would be good, but just right now, it's not a good thing. So I want you to know and look at being able to do the following. Understand the difference between appreciating assets and depreciating. Appreciating assets go up in value over a period of time, while depreciating assets go down in value. So hopefully when we purchase a home, we want it to be appreciating. Whereas where we purchase a car, we know once we drive it off the lot, that's a depreciating asset. Other depreciating are clothes and your cell phones, and as well as other technology. Whereas appreciating assets are gold and silver, cryptocurrency. But you need to really understand now the trends and the cycles so that you could place the right assets in your portfolio at the right time. Let me say that again. You must understand first your goals, then your trends of investing. And you want to make sure you place the right assets in at the right time. Also, you need to be able to take the assets out or sell them or, just move them out of your portfolio and be able to move into that money into another asset. So we're going to look at asset classes so that you can have a better view of what I'm talking about. So if we look at asset classes, I'm going to list 5. Cash, but cash is only an asset if you're receiving interest. Paper, stocks, bonds, exchange traded funds, mutual funds. Hard, gold, silver, real estate, oil, and commodities. Digital online platforms, cryptocurrency, songs, podcasts, music, books, and 5, business, where you sell your services, your products online. So as you look at these asset classes, you need to create some SMART goals around accumulating, because your accumulation phase is going to be very, very important as you begin to move throughout and navigate throughout the cabin, as we say. Understanding how assets can provide you with the following: growth, speculation, leverage, and cash flow. All asset classes like these, they don't operate the same. So you doing your due diligence and breaking down each asset class, understand which ones are best for growth, which ones are best for speculation, which ones are great for leverage, and which ones are good for cash flow. These are the categories that you must now begin to look at. So let me just go back and recap before I go to the next session, because I want you to understand global trends, how we're going to be affected. As Americans, we will be affected by 2 major global trends: the IMF Great Reset, as well as the renegotiation of the Bretton Woods Treaty. Why? Because there is a strong possibility within this decade that we will no longer have the world reserve currency only in dollars. China is one of our major competitors, and as they continue to grow, then we will have some form of another either basket of currencies or something else other than the US dollar. So I'm saying to you tonight, it will be important and it will be of best interest to you. You got to take some steps. You got to start developing a process so that you can create SMART goals around your finances. They got to be specific, clear, and well-defined. You cannot say to yourself, okay, I want to make $90,000 in 2 months, and you're only making $1,000 now working. You have to do something that's going to be very clear. So you may say to yourself, in the first 30 days or first 60 days, I want to know my net worth, where to start. Then once I learn my net worth, or once I have my net worth and understand it, I want to begin to save $25 a month and place it in a mutual fund or ETF, wherever you decide that you want to place it. I'm not trying to give you advice, but you need to learn about the different asset classes, or you say you may want to put the $25 aside for your emergency fund or for you to start a business, but it has to be specific. It has to be measurable. It's got to be obtainable, guys. So many times we have lofty goals and lofty dreams. And normally when you have those lofty goals and lofty dreams, what happens? Nothing gets done. I've been at a lot of meetings with pontificators. You know why? Because they're lofty. They have lofty goals and lofty dreams. And a lot of what they want to do or achieve is just not achievable because it's not attainable because they don't have the capacity or they may not understand it. But when you make these SMART goals, have somebody to keep you accountable. So in doing that, I'm asking you to do two things. Understand asset classes. Understand investment seasons. So when we looked at assets, we're looking at two types, appreciating and depreciating. Remember I said, when you purchase the home, you hope that the value of the home goes up. The value goes up, and that's appreciating. But when you purchase a car or when you purchase clothes or technology, that's depreciating. The classes are as follows. Cash, but it's only an asset if you're receiving interest. Paper, stocks, bonds, exchange traded funds, mutual funds. Hard, gold, silver, real estate, oil, and commodities. Digital, online, cryptocurrencies, songs, podcasts, and business, service, products, and online platforms. Understanding how assets can provide you with growth, speculation, leverage, and cash flow is going to be important. All assets don't work the same, and all assets you won't receive the same benefits. So you need to sort of be able to separate that. So here's an example. Speculation is cryptocurrency. Why? Because we're not in mass adoption right now. We're still before the curve and we're dealing with regulation. Cash flow, a good example of that is real estate investment trusts or dividend stocks. Leverage, a good example of leverage is options and futures. And growth is technology. So understanding how to find these various categories, you also need to understand what type of assets will work within each category. So here's what I want you to understand about your money. You need to know how to amass capital. You need to know how to create the velocity of money. You need to understand the return on investment, also return on capital, internal rate of return, and compounding. I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to go into each one. I would like to suggest that you take time to look it up. Amass capital. You need to learn the following: how to create the velocity of money, of your money, the return on investment, the return on capital, internal rate of return, and compounding. These are going to be very important for you as we move into this fourth industrial revolution, when you're talking about your investments or your assets. But here's what's more important: the Kondratiev season. Now, Kondratiev, he was a Russian economist, and he predicted certain seasons. And what we're about to enter into is the winter season. So we have here the autumn season. Here's winter. It's going clockwise, spring, and summer. And as the United States and its citizens, we're about to enter the winter season, even with the innovation cycle, because what you have to understand is that In an innovation cycle, it's going to cause a downward spiral. It will cause not hyperinflation, but it will have the tendency to cause hyper deflation. And as we contract during this winter season, things could get tough. Because imagine you're accustomed to working a 30-hour work week, or you may be accustomed to working long 12-hour days. You might be doing that right now. And that's great. But guess what? Technology will come in and disrupt it. You, the American citizen, will have to train the robots. You, the American citizen, will be responsible for a lot of things. So as we look at this, we have to understand that you either prepare now, or if you decide to prepare later, it might be too late. But looking at this Kondratiev wave, this pattern, we're moving from disinflation to deflation. The best investment is cash, gold, and bonds, but you have to wait on bonds, though. You're going to have to wait till bonds sort of settle themselves out. But cash is one of the best ways that you can sort of help yourself, because you want to deleverage the debt. Here's why. The winter season provides us with the following signals. We are the end of a super debt cycle. I told you that the U.S. government has over 27 trillion in debt. Well, they're not by themselves. When you look at Europe and other countries, we have a super debt cycle. Runaway investment boom. Asset prices are through the roof. Social and political unrest. More investments in technologies. Now, as we go into this fourth industrial revolution, here's what I want you to understand. We may see monopolies, and it will disrupt our free enterprise system. So instead of having competition, we may have the only game in town, just one company doing one thing for all the people. Also, deflationary events begin to spiral downward. So these things happening in this winter season, that's going to affect us. And if you're over leveraged in debt, it's going to affect you even more. So action items, preparing for the winter season. You know I was going to give you some action items so that you could prepare. And I just want you to take a deep breath, because I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but would you rather know now, or would you rather be caught off guard later? Because you can do something. If you just do one thing, that's better than nothing. I know it could become overwhelming, but if you just start a little bit at a time, trust me, you'll get there. All right. So let's look at our winter season process. 1, you now need to calculate your net worth, assets minus your liabilities. So list all your assets, be it appreciating and depreciating, and then list all the liabilities. So you make a T balance sheet. Y'all can look it up, get a template, but start with the balance sheet. Then secondly, you need to begin to educate yourselves, your friends, your family, your church members, your sorority sisters. Educate them on financial matters. 3, prepare for emergency or natural disaster. 3 is vital. Here's why. the electric grid, and the disruption that may happen within flooding around the Mississippi, or just other things that are happening within our global system, a natural disaster is really likely. So, in that natural disaster, you need to now have your passports, insurance, copy of your license, just everything you need to function, and put it on a USB, scan it, put it on a USB, carry it. Please keep an emergency bag in your car, because one day you could drive and boom, some natural disaster happens and you may not be able to get back to your home. So FEMA has a great list. And then our organization is going to deal with, how to prepare for some natural disasters, because preparedness is going to be important in this day and time, because we just don't know how it's going to happen. But what we do know, based on weather patterns, that we're going to see a tsunami. And if we see a tsunami, we're going to see an earthquake. And if we see an earthquake, it's just like a domino effect that's going to happen in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay. I used to teach science. And so it's just so much that happens. And here's why. It's just the cycle. It's just this particular cycle. Just like the pandemic. The pandemics and everything like that happens during a certain period of cycle. These cycles come in right now. And as we're going through the cycles, these things happen. So it's not for you to get, you to alarm yourself. It's just you want to be prepared. You want to make sure that you have a spare cell phone, okay? A low burner. Put that in the bag. Just things that you need to communicate, that a change of clothing, important papers and documents, birth certificates, those things, just have it and prepare. After that, prepare for your exit strategy. Everybody has a job. You're happy. You're going to have a good Christmas. You're going to see your relatives. But guess what? When we walk into 2021, and after President-elect Biden takes that oath of office, we are off to the races. And what do I mean when I say we're off to the races? Jobs will change within the landscape of our country. And as the jobs begin to change and things begin to shift, you having an exit strategy is going to be great. So in your exit strategy, you want to prepare now. What happens if I get laid off? That's one strategy. Or what happens if I get downsized? That's your other strategy. So you want to prepare the layoff strategy, and you want to prepare the downsizing strategy. Then I want to encourage you to connect with like-minded people, mastermind groups, to help sharpen your knowledge. Listen to people who are really giving you information that's vital for your financial success. Because it's not that you have to go through a layoff. It's not that or even if you do go through a layoff, it doesn't mean that you have to be without some means of having cash flow coming in. Also, I want to say something too. Retooling your skill set by moving into a new technological industry focus on the future is going to be important. Community colleges are vital and needed because they're cheaper, but yet they're going to offer you the opportunity to not have to go back to school for 4 years or 2 years, but to get certificates. Community colleges and also community organizations, because we do a 4-week course called Low Voltage. Our guys have on-the-job training. They get the certificate. They take OSHA. They get financial coaching. Why? Because it gives them a leg back into the workforce. And then 7, you want to read books, listen to CDs and podcasts. But as we deal through this winter season now, the best is yet to come. You have a choice tonight. Here's your choice. Either you're going to be an eagle, a turkey, or a chicken. Which one is it? Are you going to be like Chicken Little, say the sky is falling, the sky is falling? Or are you going to be the eagle who's going to rise above, fly above all of the turbulence that seems to go on in our country today? That's up to you. So I'm going to recap the process so that you can be able to ask me questions in a little while. So I said I want you to understand asset classes, investing in appreciating and depreciating. Talked about the 5 assets. I said that you need to understand growth, speculation, leverage, and cash flow. And here's some terms I think you're going to have to really, really take some time out to study. Master of capital, how to create the velocity of money, return on investment, return on capital, internal rate of return, and compounding. You're going to have to master this because banks don't really need your money. I just want you to know that. Because banks have mastered this. They don't really need to deal with the retail investor or the retail customer. They don't. They've mastered everything. They know how to amass capital. They know the velocity. They know it. So you need to know it also. This is important. This is the Kondratiev wave. It's the Kondratiev seasons. So in the Kondratiev seasons, we're moving into this winter season. In this winter season, we're going to see high unemployment. We're going to see some issues, guys. We may even see the banking system trigger. Now, it might not be in the United States, but we may see a trigger in the banking system because currently the banks are tightening regulation. They're tightening lending. So if the banks are not going to lend, or if there's a higher cost, something's going on. You have all of this money and all of this debt being produced, but yet the banks are not putting the money out there. Something's happening. Something's really happening. And so as they're tightening their lending standards, first of all, they know you're not going to, they know the employment situation is going to change. That's number one. How do they know it? Because Chairman Powell, he says it in his speeches. If you go and you research Chairman Powell's latest speech, he says the economy is not going to be the same. It's going to be based on technology, innovation. Those old jobs are not coming back. He says it. He's very candid, and you have to give him credit. He's letting you know they're not coming back. And because he's letting you know, now you have to do something. We're in a winter season. It signals the end of the debt super cycle. Everybody's printing money. We're not the only country. Europe is printing. They're in negative interest rates. We have negative real rates, but they have negative interest rates. So this runaway investment boom and social and political unrest, though, we're going to go through something. So, you may win on one end, but you're going to lose on the other end if you don't really prepare. And then you may start to see monopolies in America. We may not have the competition in that free market anymore. We may just begin to see monopolies start to take place in America. And then as we go to these deflationary events, this downward spiral, that's going to be an issue. So here's what I want to say about the job market. Remember, I said this, that we're going to have that 2-day work week. You know, the work week is going to change for Americans. And you're preparing for the transition is important. Now, it doesn't say that next week, next year, you're going to be affected. It doesn't say that the year after that. But if you're doing the job of 10 and 20 other people, remember now, you're going to be jeopardized. So I want to thank you guys. And I'm going to show you my final list because I want to make sure you have be able to ask questions. So winter season process. 1, network. 2, educate yourself, friends, and family. 3, prepare for an emergency or natural disaster. 4, prepare your exit strategy if your job lays you off or downsizes. 5, connect with the mastermind group. 6, consider retooling your skill set. 7, read books, listen to CDs, podcasts. Okay? So, Kim, I want to thank you for this time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I do believe we have a few questions for you. Okay. So there we go.
All right.
What can I do if I don't have a lot of money but want to start investing?
Okay, so you can start what we call the accumulation process. What does that mean? Take loose change and money left over at the end of a month, put it on the side, and begin to accumulate so that you can use that money to start investing. Or you could use that money to start your business. But, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for that question.
Okay. And Iva, if the job offers contract work, should we take it?
Yes. Here's why, Iva, and that's a great question. Contract work puts some money in your pocket. And I don't want to never despise the day of small beginnings. Contract work will allow you to, you know, sort of push your plan in action. And that's what we want to see you do.
Okay. I'm not sure if we have any others, but until that comes up, listen, everybody who's here, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this in the replay, you have seen the value that Frances delivers. So I'm just going to pin that while we answer this question from Julie. Will Social Security benefits be impacted?
Julie, great question. And that was something I was thinking about or contemplating trying to address, but I did not want to scare our audience. So yes, Social Security will be impacted. And here's why. Right now, you receive Social Security in US dollars. And if the world reserve currency is changed, that means the value or the purchasing power of that Social Security check it could be cut by 1/3 or 2/3 of the purchasing power. So what'll happen is this: you'll get that same $1,500, but that $1,500 will only be able to purchase $700 worth of goods and services. So you will have an impact. Now, that's one aspect, but here's the second aspect of Social Security, guys. Social Security will be bankrupt pretty soon. Congress will have to do something, and they're probably going to do some MMT, which is modern monetary theory. So Congress will come in and they will print more money. But again, the value of the money now won't increase your, it won't maintain your standard of living. Also, while Judy brings up Social Security, let's talk about pensions. Pensions will be affected if you don't really take heed and begin to, engage what's happening in your pension fund. There are a lot of public employees, city, state, federal workers, and your pensions can be affected major because of where it's invested. And also, if millennials who are in the workforce are not, they're coming on as gig workers or they're coming on as contracted employees, that means nobody's putting into that system. And that system is depending upon bonds. And guess what? Bonds aren't making any money. They're not paying any interest. So it's a catch-22. We're really in a catch-22. So the pension systems are, they're underfunded. Go ahead.
And so, Francis, since we talked about, we went into the Social Security and the pension, we might as well go ahead and hit 501. I mean, your 401.
Okay, so here's the thing. Again, in your 401ks, you have assets, or you have, let's say, mutual funds or whatever that is, exchange traded funds in your 401k. But that's only if you have a good market. What happens when the market goes south? That means your 401k is going to be down. So the 401k is only designed for investments to go up. Now, my suggestion to you is, if you have a 401k as a group of workers, you can ask your fund managers. It's going to be in your HR department. Ask them to begin to put in inverse ETFs in your exchange, in your 401k. See if that could be done. At least that gives you some opportunity to balance or hedge market risk when the market goes down. You could put all your money in there and it's going up, and you open your statement, and I mean, it's boom. But what happens when it doesn't boom anymore? So, and that's because of your investment choices. That's because of your investment choices. So I would have that meeting with your HR department, and you need to go to them and say, could we have other options now and be able to place inverse ETFs in our portfolios?
Right.
But yeah, the pension, the Social Security, as well as, that.
Okay. And so we can recession-proof yourself.
Yeah.
Pamela says, where can we find mastermind groups?
Well, Pamela, there are so many mastermind groups, meetups, and you can also start a group, Pam. I want to see more of you all engaging your friends, your families, your church members, your sororities, your fraternities, and have them come together, because why? That's like your extended family. You have that and have those talks. So you know what? Empowering others is going to be our salvation. We need each other, guys. We need each other. Remember, I said you have a choice. You're going to be the eagle, the turkey, or the chicken. Which one is it?
Mm-hmm. And so I was asking, should we focus on paying off debt now? Yes.
Number one opportunity. If you can get a side hustle just to pay down debt, that's going to be great, because guess what? the credit card companies, the banks are going to start reducing your credit lines anyway. So now is the time. Now is the time.
And so, are there any other places to bank besides the regular bank?
Yes, yes. Oh, wow. FinTech is going to revolutionary. It's a revolutionary financial services system. Cash App, Robinhood. I know a lot of people talking about Robinhood, but Robinhood, Charles Schwab. There are so many places now that you can bank outside of the banking system. Uphold, and I know I'm giving you all the ones that I do. Abra. But
And
guess
get better interest. And get better interest.
And they pay much better, much better interest. Yeah, they do.
Okay. And Sylvia says, do you think that IRAs for investing, what do you think of IRAs for investing and what type would you recommend?
Oh, Sylvia, that was a great question. Guess what? Roth IRAs. You know why? The tax benefits. If you all begin investing in the Roth IRA, when you withdraw the money, you can withdraw it tax-free. Okay? That's one of the best perks that our government has provided with us. Traditional IRAs are good too, and I'm not going to say it's not, but the traditional IRA will help you lower your adjusted gross income if you need a tax benefit. So, but my number one love, and that's just my opinion. It might not be good for you, Sylvie. So, and then here's what you also have to understand. If you make over a certain amount, you may not be able to do a regular Roth IRA. So you need to check with a financial advisor because you may have hit an income limit on a Roth IRA. But there are other things that you can do that your investment advisor can provide to you. Okay. Any other questions?
So if they come in, we'll address them. But we are over our time. But I do want to make sure that we're giving you all as much information that we can. Surely you've seen the value that that Frances brings. She's my personal coach. She's going to educate you. She's going to equip you, and she's going to empower you. So with those 3 E's. She's not going to like spoon feed you and say, well, go out here and invest this. There might be a little freebie here and there, but for the most part, she's making sure that you're self-sufficient so that you understand the big picture and that you're able to navigate, without her in the future. Because when her boat come in, look, she's going to be in the island somewhere and we're not going to be able to have access to her. So we need to be able to do what we do and be proficient in it and understand it. So, I was going, we were giving out prizes.
Yeah.
Because I'm right. You're going to be off the island somewhere out the country. And we'll find you in 6 months.
You're getting my secret.
But we did the like, share, and tag competition, and the person who shared the most was going to win I didn't put what it was because I wanted you to be interested in the information and do it because you were invested in what was taking place. Right. And so our grand prize winner for a 30-minute free coaching session tonight is going to be Miss Iva Hall.
All right, Miss Hall.
Thank you so much for participating and supporting Conversations with Kim Talk Show. I think you're already in the tribe, so you can either utilize that for yourself or gift it to to someone that you feel might be able to use it. And so we did have a nice group of individuals that did share. And so what I want to do is still give you all something. I do have a book that I've authored, and I want every person that shared to have a copy of this book free of charge. So what I need you to do, so you can get it, because if you don't do this, you won't. I need you to message me on the Conversations with Kim Talk Show page, and then thanks Sylvia for congratulating her. Show some love, y'all. Don't be hating on Iva. Don't be hating on Iva. So send your mailing address where you want me to send the book. So put that into the message side, and I will get that out to you after the Thanksgiving holiday. And so if you feel like what she gave you was valuable and you want to get on the team, I strongly suggest that you reach out to her, find out what it's going to take for you to be a one of her coaching clients, so that she can walk you through some of this information, and she can, take that personal one-on-one time with you to be able to help you to put things in and package it so that you can be equipped and be ready. So listen, I'm trying to help y'all to get, because I'm going to be on my island too. My phone number going to change. So,
I'm not going to have my Facebook nor my LinkedIn.
I'm trying to help y'all now. So thank you all that participated. I don't know if we had any more questions. I know that we're over, but not by very much. But I just want to be sure that we're doing our due diligence. In the meantime, Francis, are there any final words?
I love you. Stay safe. Remember, get your process, your financial house in order. You are either going to be an eagle, a turkey, or a chicken. Bye.
Thank you so much, Francis. And this is our final episode for the season. I'll be coming back periodically, but we will come back new information, new look, new everything in January. So please stay tuned and go back, like and share these episodes, and enjoy yourself here in the Village. This is a great place for you to just come, exhale, and be part of the community. And remember, silence creates distance, but Conversations with Kim builds the Village. Thank you. Bye-bye.